Ryan and Zoe had been planning this snowboarding trip for months. As avid snowboarders, they love the thrill of racing down mountain slopes, surrounded by the serene beauty of snow-covered peaks and evergreen trees dusted in white. They had traveled to one of the highest peaks in the Rockies, excited for a day full of adventure. The morning was perfect. The sun was shining brightly, casting a golden glow over the snowy landscape. Fluffy clouds dotted the blue sky, and a crisp wind added a rush to the air. After checking their gear, Ryan and Zoe strapped on their snowboards and set out down the mountain. Laughing and shouting, they weaved in and out of trees, carving their way down the slopes. Zoe sped ahead, challenging Ryan to keep up, and he followed, pushing his speed to catch her. The thrill of the ride and the beauty of the landscape made everything feel surreal, like a dream. They had been snowboarding for hours when they decided to take a short break. Stopping at a secluded area overlooking the valley, they took in the view, enjoying the silence that hung in the crisp mountain air. But the peace didn't last. Suddenly, they heard a low rumble echoing through the valley. At first, it sounded distant, almost like thunder rolling in from far away, but it grew louder and closer. Zoe's eyes widened as she realized what was happening. "Ryan, it's an avalanche!" she shouted, her voice shaking with fear. They turned to see a massive wall of snow rushing down the slope above them. They had only seconds to react. Zoe locked eyes with Ryan, panic and determination flashing between them. "Go! Now!" he shouted, and they both launched into action. They pushed off with all their strength, leaning into their boards as they began racing down the mountain. The sound of the avalanche grew louder, crashing like waves on a shore, only far more menacing. The snow behind them churned, tearing through trees and rocks as it barreled down toward them. The ground beneath them trembled as they sped downhill, barely able to keep control on the rough terrain. Zoe focused on staying balanced, her heart pounding as she carved tight turns to keep her speed up. She could feel the vibrations in the snow as the avalanche drew closer. Ahead, Ryan spotted a small opening in the side of the mountain, a cave, partially hidden by a clump of trees. His mind raced. If they could reach it in time, they might stand a chance. He shouted over his shoulder to Zoe, "Follow me! There's a cave!" Zoe glanced in his direction, her eyes narrowed with determination. Together, they veered toward the cave. Ryan dived toward the opening, skidding to a halt just inside the mouth of the cave. Zoe was right behind him, practically throwing herself into the cave as the avalanche surged past them. They huddled against the back wall of the cave, listening as the snowstorm of ice and debris roared outside. The noise was deafening, a thunderous boom that seemed to shake the entire mountain.